Hey everyone, Chell here with Prismatic Powders. In this video, we're going to cover what powder coating is, how it works, and the minimum equipment needed to get started. Now, if you're already an experienced powder coater, you probably already know all of this, so feel free to skip it. But if you're new to powder coating and want to understand the process from start to finish a little bit better, you're in the right place. So let's jump on in. So what is powder coating? Well, unlike liquid paint, powder coating is applied as a dry powder. A powder coating gun uses compressed air and an electrostatic charge to apply that powder onto a grounded metal part. And once that powder is applied, the part is placed into an oven where the powder melts and then flows into a smooth coating that then chemically cures into a really tough protective finish. And once it's cured, it's ready to use. And depending on the powder and the size of the part, your total time in the oven is only like 20-ish minutes, making powder coating a surprisingly fast finishing process. And because powder has to be baked at elevated temperatures, powder coating is primarily used on metal parts. So now that you know the basics, let's walk through the entire process while covering the minimum equipment that you're going to need along the way. So everything starts with prep work. And there's an old saying, proper preparation prevents poor performance. And if you're just getting started, this is one of those steps that you're probably tempted to rush or skip, but it is also the step that can really make or break your finish. And every professional powder coater knows how important prep work is. Now the two basics are degreasing and abrasive blasting of some variety. Degreasing will remove the oils and contaminants that can interfere with adhesion or cause coating defects. And depending on the condition of the parts, it might be as simple as wiping them down with acetone, or even better, using a dedicated degreasing tank or something like an ultrasonic cleaner if you got one. Either way, you're going to need some method of thoroughly cleaning your parts. But once they're clean, it's time to blast. Abrasive blasting removes rust, old coatings, and oxidation that creates a surface profile that will give the powder something to mechanically grip onto. And as that powder melts and cures, it locks into that profile, giving you a really strong bond. So you're gonna also need a sandblaster. A small sandblast cabinet like this is a great place to start. Used ones can often be found for well under $100. Of course, a blast cabinet needs some compressed air as well as some other necessary items like your powder coating gun or an air gun for blowing off parts and for general cleanup. And this means that an air compressor is one of the most important choices that you're going to make. For beginners, I'd consider a 30-gallon compressor as more of the minimum I'd recommend. Used units are pretty easy to find and they're not too expensive, typically just a few $100. And once your parts are clean, you can finally have them ready for the fun part, and that is applying the powder. So first, you're gonna need powder. Fortunately, we got you covered there. We got thousands upon thousands of colors to choose from, so your imagination is pretty much the only limit here. And most of what you'll work with is gonna be a polyester or a urethane type powder. But let's talk about the powder coating gun. The gun that you choose makes a big difference, but most beginners start with something like this. It's a dual voltage gun and it costs around $150, and it's a good way to learn the process, but as you improve, you'll probably outgrow this pretty quick. That's pretty normal. The good news is there are plenty of systems out there to suit your needs as you grow, from that enthusiast level all the way up to professional production systems like these. Now, no matter which gun you choose, they all have the same essential functions. They deliver powder while applying an electrostatic charge. And I do want to mention something here. The powder is attracted to grounded parts, which brings up one more inexpensive but very important piece of equipment, and that is a proper grounding rod. Good grounding improves your transfer efficiency, and then it helps to produce a more consistent finish. It's definitely something that you shouldn't overlook. All right, and then one more thing. And this doesn't have to do with application per se, but just more about PPE. Now, powder coating, it's not paint, so you don't have harmful vapors, but you do have particulate in the air that could irritate your sinuses or your lungs. So you want to be protected from that. So at a bare minimum, you want something like an N95 little dust mask, or even better, you get one of these NIOSH Class 1 respirators.
Or you get yourself one of these, take you into the space age.
All right, so now you've got coated parts, so it's time for everyone's next favorite step, curing. This is where the big reveal happens, the fruits of your labor. To cure powder, you're gonna need an oven, and this is another area where bigger isn't always better. Production shops may use really large ovens like this, but they're expensive and unnecessary for most beginners. At the other end of the spectrum, some people start with something very tiny like a toaster oven, but most hobbyists will opt for something a bit larger like a used kitchen oven that they dedicate to powder coating. Personally, I think most people will outgrow a toaster oven pretty quickly. There are other options as you grow, like a convection oven of this size. This is large enough to batch small parts or even do some larger parts. And convection ovens circulate heat much more evenly, which will help eliminate cold spots, which lead to undercured parts, and that's a very bad thing. So start with what fits your budget and the size of the parts you're actually planning on coating. You can always upgrade later. All right, so that's the breakdown of the powder coating process and some of the basic equipment needed. And that's gonna wrap it up for this video, but please reach out to our technical support team if you have any other questions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.